So I'll record this while we do it too. So what we're going to do is create a new design. So I'll make a new document. This is going to be a Halloween trace. If you want to do a different object, you know, you're welcome to pick. It doesn't have to be Halloween themed. And then what we're going to do is the kind of the same thing we typically do. We're going to go ahead and start by doing a sketch. So go back to a two-dimensional design. We're going to pick sketch. We're going to pick a surface. I almost always pick the top. Oh, I don't want, oh, the top. Yeah, we're good. And then I'm going to rotate to the top. So I have this flat paper now. And then the new tool we're going to do is this one in the middle called insert. It's insert a drawing. And so we're going to pick the second one, which is to insert an image. And this is kind of the new one. This is the image I would have found online or found earlier, and I'm going to import it. So I've downloaded those same Halloween sketches onto my computer. So you can find an image. Let's just pretend the one I've been doing is this bat. So this bat is pretty symmetrical. You go ahead and import it and then click over here. And now you kind of, let me close this window. And now you draw how big you want it on your canvas. So, and you might notice that I'm sizing it to line up with this axis as well. So this is the y-axis. I put my design kind of centered on that y-axis. I'm going to rename this sketch as my my bat image. So I'm going to put names to my layers, and that's going to be my first sketch. Is going to be the image. Next, I'm going to do another sketch on top of it where I outline it. It's going to be on the same top surface, and I'm going to rename this one. This is my trace of the image. So I'm going to outline. Oh, sorry. I got to go back there. Now I'm going to trace that image. So I'm back in the trace of the image. To do the trace, we're going to use a different tool. So I'm going to zoom in. So it helps to zoom in and know how to pan around as well. So to trace this image, I'm going to go to what's called the Spline tool. So this icon right here is the Spline tool. We're going to pick a spline. And what a spline does is you put dots down, and it tries to follow the outline of the shape. And you can see if I go too far, it gets pretty far off. So when it gets off, I just go back. And again, if I want to zoom in more, I can even get a better approximation to the shape. I tend to zoom out a little bit. We don't have to be super zoomed in. And then when you go around a curve, it tends to go a little bit off. So I put my dots a little bit closer together. And then what I'm going to do is essentially just go around the whole object doing this tracing process. As I trace, I'm also doing some zooming and panning to keep my image where I can see it. You don't have to trace it perfectly. Nobody's going to see the actual image. We're going to hide that. And all I'm doing is going around it and tracing it as if I was tracing it with a pencil or a pen. And you can see when I go off my image, I pan it. And on a mouse, I'm pushing the scroll wheel in to pan. And then zooming is I use the actual scroll wheel. And you can see sometimes I'm closer to my design, sometimes I'm farther. And then the last really important thing is I have to join the two dots back together. So I have to connect those two dots and it'll outline that shape. And again, you can see that the two, if I move my shape over a little bit, if you look carefully, the two sides of my shape are not perfect. You can see I went a little bit narrower here and a little wider here, but again, it's not going to matter. This is, and it's like a polyline tool. Yeah. In a lot of, what do you call it? in Google Drawing. So, and if you use drawing programs, it's like that as well. So this is called the spline tool. I'm going to finish this shape now. So now I have my image, I have my trace. I'm going to rotate back to what's called an isometric view. And then now I'm going to do an extrusion just like I did before. But what I'm going to extrude is that shape I just made. And you can see the shape just came up. Uh, and then I can go ahead and say I'm done. So, and then what you can do is hide all these axes and hide the image. So what I'm going to do is start to turn off my different planes. I don't need them, and I don't need the bad image anymore. I've already used the bad image, and then now what I'm left with is that shape. And because I've hidden everything, you guys can't really tell if it was symmetric or not. So I can rotate a little bit here. We can put it upside down, right side up. Let's see if I can go back to isometric too. Okay, so again, you would have a hard time seeing those differences in the traces. I can also now go back and cut in something like an eye. So if I want to do another sketch, I could sketch on top of it, right? And I could go back and rotate to the top again, and I could put in eyes, right? So I can go back and do a center point circle. I think a bat's eyes would be somewhere. Oh, where's escape? Hold on. Let's get an eye in here. A center point circle, yes. So there we go. Maybe that's the side. Oh, escape. Hold on. My eyes keep. I'm not doing a good job with my center point circle. So I'm going to do one eye over here. Did I draw it? It's like, I think I'm in a 3-point circle. Sorry. I got to get to the right circle. Okay, center point circle. Now we're good. Okay, so now I'm going to click once, and there we go. So there's my eye, right? And then what I can do is do another eye over here, center point circle. Pick another. Oh, I'm still dying. Do another center point circle. Over here, where's my eye? Okay, got it. Okay. There we go. Okay. So now I got my 2 eyes, right? So I can call this layer my eyes. And then what I can do now is I got a couple choices on what I do with my eyes. So again, you can have the eyes go in or the eyes go out. And I'm going to pick to have the eyes go out. So I'm going to extrude. I'm going to pick both eyes, maybe. But I don't want to extrude them 1 inch, right? I think I should probably excuse them maybe like 0.1 tenth of that. Let's see if it'll adjust. What are we doing here? Let's go 0.1. Yeah, let's see if it'll reduce that. There we go. So now I have my 2 eyes, or if I want to, I could edit that. And rather than have them go in, I could remove it, right? So I could go in, which might be a better look, right? Oh, did it do it? Where'd it go? Where'd my eyes go? I want to remove face of eyes, 0.1. That looks good. Let's go in. Let's see if we can go in. Let's go a little bit there. Let's call that good. All right. Okay. And it looks like I cut my eyes now into the shape. So that's some options on making this kind of, and you can see that I have now some holes in my design. And I could add a mouth. We could do other things too. So that's your quick intro to how to take a shape and do a design on top of it. Does that sound good? Okay. So I'll stop this video recording. You guys can